Our anime begins with Gabi, who has been sentenced to death because of all the crimes he committed. The executioner raises his sword and strikes with all his might. But the surprise is, nothing happens, even the sword breaks. When he tries to strike again, they get angry and can't believe what just happened. After that, they take him to another place and gather firewood to burn him. They say that's it, forget about him ever living again. They set him on fire and everyone expected he would die. But do you really think he's going to die, my friend? No way. Gabi walks out from the fire completely unharmed. But what would make them execute him and insist on his death after all these blows? Let me tell you what happened. A few years ago, Gabi was working as a thug for the most notorious gang leader in the area, killing people mercilessly and no one could stop him. The boss married him to his daughter because no one else could protect her. He loved her very much. And even though he was a killer, he lived with her in complete comfort. Every day, he would come home with his hands covered in the blood of the people he had killed. His beloved would be upset, but she couldn't say anything to him, though he could sense it. He realized that he had to stop everything he was doing and live a peaceful life with his beloved without any trouble. He goes to the boss and tells him, "That's enough. I don't want to be a killer anymore, and I don't want to kill anyone else." The boss gets upset at that moment. He betrays him, hands him over to the authorities, and pins all the crimes he committed on him, denying any involvement himself. Now they've brought in a girl to interrogate him, but despite everything that's happened to him, he doesn't care, and nothing seems to affect him. The girl asks him the first question about his family and whether all the crimes he committed were to avenge their deaths or not. He tells her, "No, my family was killed by the boss when I was still a child. He didn't want to kill me, so he took me in and raised me, and he's the one who taught me everything up until now. Even after all that, I have no intention of taking revenge on him." She is surprised and asks him, "Are you saying this just to deny all the charges against you, or what? You killed more than 20 people as soon as they caught you and all the charges are sticking to you no matter what. But I have one question. Why don't you want to die? And every time they try to kill you, you resist and act like you don't care. What's your goal in doing all this?" Gabi goes silent and remembers his beloved and how he wants to go back to her, hear her voice again and see if she's okay or not. The girl also goes quiet and it seems like she knows everything, and that's where their conversation ends. After that, the soldiers take him and tell him, "This is your last execution attempt and believe me, you'll be surprised by it." They take him into a room filled with many soldiers. And in the middle, he sees the girl who was interrogating him standing there, holding a sword. As soon as the guy sees her, he's shocked and realizes that she's the new executioner. She tells him, "I'm Saji, get ready because we're going to execute you just like you wanted." Gabi feels a strange sensation, realizing she's not like the previous executioners. He breaks the handcuffs on his wrists. He's about to escape, but she attacks him and almost cuts off his head. He manages to save himself at the last moment and dodges her attack. Saji says to him, "Are you scared or what? Weren't you the one who wanted to die? Why do you want to run away now? By the way, I know you're doing this because of your girlfriend, and that you still have hope you'll get back together with her. But only God knows whether she's alive or dead." Gabi, as soon as he hears this, gets angry. He grabs the sword and attacks her with all his strength. He tells her, "If anything happens to my girlfriend, I won't spare you, you'll see my other side." At that moment, the girl pulls out a paper and says, "This document clears you of all charges against you, and you'll also get state protection. But there's one condition, you have to go to the island of life." He asks her, "And what's this island?" She tells him it's a piece of paradise. Flowers, trees, and everything your heart desires. They say that the Elixir of Immortality is there, and whoever drinks it never dies. The king sent people there to get it, but whoever went never came back, and they never found any trace of them. The king issued a decree to send criminals sentenced to death there. And if you bring back this elixir, you'll be pardoned and reunited with your beloved." At that moment, Gabi remembers his beloved and all the beautiful moments they shared together. He cries and tells her, "I promise you, I'll do the impossible to come back to you." One of the soldiers gets angry and says, "No, this one in particular must be executed," and he orders the soldiers to attack him. Gabi lets out a sly, mischievous laugh. He says, "It doesn't matter if I kill 20 out of 30. He reveals his power in front of them, and everyone is terrified the moment they see it. And in less than a few seconds, he wipes them all out completely. He looks at Saji and asks her, "Where is this island located?" "Alright then, let's hurry so I can get back to my beloved quickly." She tells him, "Don't rush, man. We'll go to the king first and there you'll understand everything." So he says to her, "Alright." Then they go to the king, who has gathered all the criminals. The assistant speaks to them and says, "Each of you has two choices. Take whichever option you like. Either he gets executed here as sentenced, or he goes to the island, and if he brings back the Elixir of Immortality, he'll be granted a pardon. All the criminals start shouting, saying that no one has ever gone there and come back alive. Are you just trying to play games to amuse yourselves or what? One of them stands up and just leaves them, walking away. But one of the soldiers blows his brains out and says, that's the first one to get his sentence. Everyone has the freedom to choose. The rest get scared and agree to go to the island. But then the assistant continues speaking and tells them, since you all agreed, there's a problem. There are more of you than there are ships, so we have to reduce your numbers. As soon as one of them hears this, he goes to another criminal and kills him. The assistant doesn't say anything, so they understand that this is the elimination round, and everyone starts attacking each other and killing each other brutally. Gabi sits there, refusing to kill any of them. Suddenly he gets up and goes to the king saying, that's enough. Instead of letting us kill each other, only the strongest will survive. You shouldn't have given hope to those who were going to die from the start. You and that assistant of yours are just a bunch of failures. At that moment, the assistant gets angry and tells one of the criminals, if you kill him, we'll take you with us on the ship. The guy gets really excited, grabs a rock and throws it at his face, but Gabi dodges it easily. He looks at him coldly and says, I didn't want to kill any of you, but there's no other way. He attacks the guy and finishes him off with a single blow. Even the ones with him can't last a few seconds against him. A few other criminals get angry and attack him, but whoever faces him gets what's coming to them. Everyone before him and everyone is shocked by his strength. After that, they stop him and he tells them, that's enough. The number is just right for the ship. And indeed, they board the ship and head to the island, with each criminal accompanied by an executioner to keep an eye on him. Saji was the one responsible for watching over Gabi. As soon as they arrive there, Gabi talks to her and says, by the way, the immortality medicine really does exist. When I was a kid, there was a man in my village who never died. They tried to kill him and did everything to him, but he still didn't die. And surely the immortality medicine must be somewhere on the island. Saji says, all right, and then they continue walking together. Gabi unties the rope around his hand. The girl gets upset and tells him, tie it back up. None of the criminals are allowed to untie their hands. He says, all right, and is about to tie it back when suddenly he gets hit by an attack from the plane. It's that criminal. And this guy is the most dangerous one among them. He uses weapons with great skill and no one can stand up to him. He says, that's it, I've killed the first one of them. I didn't expect he would die that easily. But suddenly, Gabi speaks up and says to him, nice massage, buddy. You're going to be late. The guy gets angry and attacks him with all his strength, using all kinds of weapons. But it doesn't affect him at all. Gabi says to him, is that all you've got? Now let's try a few things on you. The guy gets angry again and throws a lot of swords at him, but Gabi dodges them all, sends them back to him, and in less than a second, he gets his body close to his weapons and kills him in a matter of seconds. Gabi, you're awesome, honestly. After that, Saji is standing there lost in thought when Gabi suddenly attacks her. She barely manages to dodge and says to him, what are you doing, man? He tells her, you're slowing me down, and if I keep going with you, the criminals will find the cure before I do, and I can't let that happen. He attacks her again and almost kills her, but he hesitates because of something. The girl also tries to stop him, but she can't do anything to him. He breaks her sword and knocks her to the ground, wanting to kill her, but his heart just won't let him. He imagines his beloved holding his hand and telling him not to kill anyone else. He cries and says, I have to go back to her. How can I, after all the people I've killed without any mercy? He says, I can't kill you, and I feel like my heart is breaking. Saji feels his pain and realizes how much he's suffering. She tells him, you're a good person. And the proof of that is that you feel guilty about what you've done even though you try not to show it. I felt your pain. I forgive you for what you did, and I'll help you get back to your beloved again. And Gabi was at the peak of his sadness at that moment. At the same time, there was one of the criminals. He was walking when he suddenly felt a bee sting him, and out of nowhere, he cut off his hand where the bee had stung him. The guard with him was surprised and asked, what are you doing? He replied, this isn't an ordinary bee. Take a look at this. He looked and saw that the hand he had cut off had turned into a rose. He was extremely surprised. Gabi was also standing there looking and saw that creature staring at them. The boy was astonished. A giant with a fish's head. What's going on here? The monster attacked Gabi, but he dodged its blow and struck back, yet it had no effect on the creature. The monster grabbed him furiously. He's stomping on the ground, and it looks like he's not joking around. Gabi just stands there, not knowing what to do with him. He thinks about running away, but finds other monsters have surrounded them from every direction. He says, that means I have only one option left, and that's to kill you all. He gets fired up and charges at them again. He uses his strength, takes out the first one, and with the second, he increases the pressure on its head until it explodes. He keeps killing them one by one and no one can stop him. One of those monsters attacks Saji and is just about to kill her, but Gabi finishes it off at the last moment and saves her from it. But one of the monsters comes and attacks them. If it weren't for one of the monitors stepping in and protecting them, killing the last one at the very last moment. And this is the monitor responsible for Taka. The girl who drove everyone crazy with her crimes says to Gabi, "By the way, I'm the one who told him to save you because I need someone like you. And with your charm, you can't die now." She gets closer to him. She tries to get physically close, but Gabi holds her in place and says, "I'm a married man, I can't do these things. Just tell me straight what you want from me, no beating around the bush." So she tells him, "I want us to work together." So he says to her, "And what would I gain from working with someone like you?" She replies, "You'll benefit from my information. For example, you think those monsters are the real danger on the island. But you're wrong, the insects here are much more dangerous than them. They secrete toxic substances that make your body decompose and flowers grow out of it in seconds. And there are still a lot of things I won't tell you about unless you agree to help me." So he says to her, "No way, I could never trust someone like you." She replies, "Trust? Just because we're helping each other doesn't mean there's trust between us. Either way, only one person is going to find that cure, and only one person will get the immunity too. And anyone could betray the other in a matter of seconds." Gabi is convinced by what she says and agrees to protect her in exchange for the information she'll give him. Meanwhile, there were two brothers just walking along, minding their own business. The older one is named Shubi and the other is Toma. You might say, Toma and onions. I'd say, are we joking around or what, my friend? Suddenly, as they're walking, they find these monsters right in front of them. Shubi is actually happy when he sees them. He says, "Finally, I found something to entertain myself with on this boring island." He grabs his weapon and starts killing them. Toma covers his back while Shubi is tearing through them and they can't do anything to stop him. One of those monsters grabs Toma by the hair and almost kills him. He calls out to his brother and says, "Help me," but Shubi ignores him and keeps going as if he doesn't even see him. Toma gets angry and pulls the monster's hand off him, but just as he's about to get hurt, a strike splits the monster in two. Shubi tells him, "I had to let you rely on yourself, otherwise you'll end up a failure. And you'll always wait for someone to help you." But suddenly, while they're talking, Shubi gets hit in the face. He looks and sees more monsters have arrived, but these ones are different. They're talking and saying strange things that no one understands. Shubi gets angry, grabs his weapon, charges at them, and kills them all with ease. No one can stand up to him. And anyone who tries to greet him, he finishes them off without a word. He finishes them off completely and goes back to his brother again. He says to him, "What do you think, man? This is just the beginning. I want you to focus with me because what's coming next will be the start of the story." On the other hand, Saji wakes up, goes out, and finds Gabi sitting there cooking for them, and Bola, acting like a housewife, asks him, "Do you even know how to cook or are you going to kill us?" He tells them, "I'm used to vegetarian food. Earlier I went to explore the island and saw some strange things while I was getting this food. There were plants that looked like humans, and most likely those flowers you saw are made from the bodies of people who came here. Creepy." He also says, "I'm also surprised that the bodies of all the creatures they killed were missing their organs, and that's not normal for them." Gabi, as soon as he hears this, gets excited and says, "Now I feel reassured, and I'm sure the immortality medicine is somewhere here. Come on, I want to get it quickly." Then, one of Saji's colleagues pulls her aside to talk to her and tells her to go back to the city. He says, "The criminal I was protecting is dead, so I'll watch Gabi in your place. You should go home because it's dangerous for you." The girl refuses and tells him, "No way, I won't leave this mission until I accomplish it. Just because I'm a girl doesn't mean everyone should treat me with caution and be afraid for me." The guy gets angry and tells her, "We have to worry about you." He says a girl's place is in the kitchen, cleaning and going home, and she shouldn't do anything more than that. At that point, Saji leaves, goes to Gabi, and tells him everything that happened, and that starting tomorrow she'll leave him and go, and her colleague will be the one to watch over him. Gabi tells her, "Take care of yourself. I really thank you for helping me calm down. Taking risks at times like these could have cost me my life. But I want to tell you something, Saji. You're strong, not like they tell you. And you also have great courage. Keep living your life and live the way you love." As soon as Saji hears these words, she gets emotional, leaves him, and walks away. She goes to her colleague and tells him, "All my life, ever since I was little, Everyone avoided me and insulted me because I was learning how to use a sword. And I don't care about housework or any of that nonsense. I chose my life and how I want to live it. And with all due respect to you, but I'm not coming back until I finish what I came here for. The guy gets really angry, grabs his sword, but suddenly finds that she has taken it from him and is standing in front of him. He gets angry again and was about to attack her, but one of the criminals comes and attacks them. The overseer pushes Saji out of the way and takes the hit for her, flying back until he crashes into that tree. It turns out that this giant is the one who did it. And this is Zeno, one of the most dangerous criminals on the island. Even though he's a giant, he has the mind of a child and can't think straight. Since he was young, whenever he got hungry, he would kill anyone who came near him. And now he's hungry and no one can stand up to him. Saji gets worried about her colleague and goes to help him. Zeno was about to hit them again, but then the sandal, Gabi, intervenes and lands a blow that smashes the trees behind him. But Zeno gets up as if nothing happened. Nothing affects him. Gabi is shocked by his strength. And he says, someone like that, there's no way I could kill him. Zeno also gets angry, picks up a tree and throws it at him. But Gabi barely dodges it, and before he can catch his breath, he's attacked again, and someone tries to grab him. But Gabi keeps dodging him, and at that moment, he gets angry and attacks him. He also attacks him with all the skills he's learned, hoping he can at least scratch him, but none of that has any effect on Saji. She also goes to her teammate and tries to treat him, but it's no use. He grabs her hands and tells her, don't try, I feel like this is my end. I'm sorry for underestimating you. I told you to leave so you wouldn't die, and because this place is dangerous for you. But it turns out I was wrong, and this place was dangerous for me before you. You're strong, and I admit that. That's why, Saji, take this sword. You deserve it more than I do. Fight with it, don't let anyone defeat you, and don't die the same death I'm about to die. Saji is moved by his words, takes his hand, and swears that she will avenge his death. At the same time, while Gabi didn't know what to do, he looks over and sees that Zeno's finger has been cut off and finds him standing there screaming. He's shocked when he realizes that Saji is the one who did it. He asks her, how did you do that? I've been trying with him since then and I can't even scratch him. Saji says to him, did you forget that I'm an executioner or what? Between each knuckle of the finger, there's a gap. And that's the technique of the sword we use in executions. And between each vertebra in his neck, there's that same gap. That's why we restrain criminals in a certain way so that this gap increases, and when we strike, the head separates quickly and they don't feel anything. Gabi says to her, but that's not an easy thing to do. Zeno is big and you have to bring him down first so his neck bends in front of you and you can kill him. Look, here's the plan. I'll attack him and you just try to hit his leg. After that, he'll fall to the ground and we'll be able to finish him off. She says, alright. He actually attacks him and he parries all the attacks skillfully. Saji circles behind him and with all her strength, she strikes at his leg. But unfortunately, their plan failed and nothing affected him at all. Gabi is shocked by what he's seeing and doesn't know what to do. Zeno also attacks them and they barely manage to dodge his strike. But at that moment, Gabi feels that his leg is injured and he can't move it. Saji also takes advantage of his distraction with Gabi. She leaps at him trying to hit him, but nothing happens to him at all. At that moment, Zeno gets furious. He starts shouting at the top of his lungs. Everyone in the forest is shocked by that sound. He grabs Gabi and slams him into the ground with all his strength. After that, he falls to the ground and can't move anymore. Gabi tries to get up but can't. That hit was really hard on you, my friend. He falls to the ground afterward and can't move anymore. Zeno was about to attack him again, but suddenly he finds Saji right in front of him. She remembers her colleague and says, you killed one of my friends and I won't let that happen again. The guy attacks her with all his strength, but she stands her ground and blocks his attacks with all her might. She attacks him too, but he can't hit her. She's incredibly fast and Zeno can't keep up with her. She knocks him to the ground and circles behind him quickly. She was about to cut his neck, but Zeno gets up quickly and moves away from her. At that moment, Gabi regains consciousness and says to her, I found the solution that will force him to kneel before us. He activates the fire technique and attacks him with it. Zeno dodges it easily, but the fire spreads throughout the area. But that's exactly what Gabi wants. He attacks him again and with every strike, more trees catch fire and the smoke thickens. Because of Zeno's massive size, the smoke starts to affect him. He can't breathe. He falls to the ground, coughing and unable to catch his breath. Saji approaches his head and raises her sword. And at that moment, she remembers everything she's been through. She recalls the last words her colleague said before he died. Zeno tries to push them away with his hand, but Gabi stands in his way and says to her, hurry up, I can't hold on much longer. Saji gathers all her strength and strikes his neck with the sword she took from her colleague before he died, cutting off his head and avenging his death. She was at the peak of happiness at that moment. At that moment, Gabi says to her, "Let's go. If we stay here, we'll suffocate and die too." She listens to him and they run away from the smoke, continuing to walk until they find Taka and Shiki, who ask them, "What are you looking at? And why are you so focused?" They look too and find houses, and it seems like someone used to live here. Meanwhile, Shobo and Atoma are killing some monsters and eating them. At that moment, Shobo hears a sound nearby and goes to see where it's coming from. They reach the source of the sound and are shocked by what they see. They find two girls in a compromising position together, both very beautiful, and they're surprised when they see them. The girls tell them, "This is the first time a human has made it to this point. You've come to your death," they say. Shobo looks at them angrily and asks, "Why are you acting like animals? And how come you're not human like us?" They reply, "It seems you haven't heard about us." Then, one of their bodies starts to transform. Their appearance changes and shifts. The guys are shocked by what they're seeing. They can't believe what's happening. Now back to Gabi. After he sees the abandoned village, he feels like someone is watching him. He looks behind and spots a little girl. As soon as she realizes he saw her, she runs away. But Gabi catches up to her. They encounter that creature, but Gabi ignores it and tells them, "You deal with it. Let me see who this girl is." And indeed, he catches up to the girl and tries to talk to her, but suddenly someone grabs his hand and does a suplex, almost breaking it. Gabi is shocked. How could a girl like that do this to him? Saji arrives too and calls out to her saying, "Come here, we're not going to hurt you. We just want to talk to you for a bit." The girl actually stops. Saji gets closer to her and suddenly she turns her face and was about to punch her. But Gabi arrives at the last moment and stands in front of her. He takes the hit right where it lands. The blow wasn't normal. Gabi can't handle it, he's thinking. How could all that power come from a little girl like her? I wanted to go easy on you, but that's it. You've pushed me to my limit. He grabs some plants, wraps them around her and hangs her on the tree. He thinks the girl will resist and use her power against them, but suddenly he finds her just crying. He takes her down again and she stays silent, trying to calm herself while Gabi is surprised. Taka arrives too and says, "I'm done with that tree and came to you. Who is this girl? Did you find out anything from her or not?" But suddenly, they hear a voice speaking to them saying, "Let Mai go, and I'll give you everything you want and tell you everything you want to know." The kids are shocked and say to the tree, "How are you talking?" It says to them, "You'll know everything, but give me Mai first." And indeed, they take her and walk with him to the village. They don't really trust him, but they say, "He's just a weak little creature, he won't be able to do anything anyway." They arrive at the house where he lives. Gabi says to him, "That's enough. Come on, tell us, how long have you been living here? And where can I find that Kalut medicine?" So he tells them, "I'm Hoko and this is Mai. We've been living in the village for 1,000 years, living a peaceful life with nothing to bother us." Gabi interrupts him and says, "Are you going to tell us your life story or what? I want to know where the Kalut medicine is quickly." So he says to him, "You mean the tan, and that's the thing that if someone drinks it, they'll become immortal and never die. This island is divided into 3 parts. The first part is the beach where you landed. As for the second part, that's where we are now and where this village is located. And the last part is where you will die." They're shocked by what he says and tell him, "Explain what you mean quickly." So he tells them, "In that last part you'll find Tan, but you won't find him alone. There will be 2 Sin with him, and they're not ordinary monsters. No matter what you try, you won't be able to kill them, because anything you cut off from them grows back. They have the power of regeneration. Their strength is exceptional compared to anyone else, and no one has ever been able to stand against them. Everyone they encounter just keeps hitting them until they collapse. After that, they leave them in a pit so they can turn into plants on the island." And that's exactly what happened to Shobo and Tuma. Gabi, as soon as he hears this, gets excited and says, "They must be really tough then." He says, "We're going to have some fun," and that's where their conversation ends. At night, Gabi goes to the bathroom to clean his wounds and finds Mai there, standing alone with no one to teach her anything. She was with him too, and when she goes to her, she finds her lost and not knowing how to do anything, and she notices a scar on her body, afraid that someone might see it. Saji approaches her, takes care of her and treats her like her own daughter. She brushes her hair for her and the girl was overjoyed. Gabi was also standing there, watching the girl as she was afraid someone might see her scar. He remembers his lover who had a large scar on her face. She used to try to cover it with her hair, but it was still visible. Every time he looked into her eyes, she felt embarrassed because of how she looked. But Gabi reassures her. He tells her, "Don't put your hair over your eyes again. I love you in every way you are. And this scar doesn't take away from your beauty." The girl was touched by his words and was very happy. And after he finishes, he looks at Mai again and tells her, "Don't be afraid of anyone seeing your scar, for I once knew a girl with a large scar on her face, but I have never found anyone in this world who could match her beauty." He meant his beloved with those words. Suddenly, she is moved by his words. Mai also goes to him and holds him, her eyes telling everything, and she was at the peak of happiness. On the other hand, there were two people trying to escape from the island. The girl's name is Sasha, and the one watching over her is called Tenza. They are on a boat heading back to the city. He tells her, "I won't let you die here. You're still young, and I felt like I wrote about your crimes. We're going back to the city, and God willing, I'll make sure they pardon you." The girl is touched by his words and was overjoyed at that moment. Suddenly, as they're moving along, they spot a large ship right in front of them. They get excited and say, "We'll board that instead of this small boat." They hadn't even finished talking yet. They find the ship split in half, and there are also many broken ships, clearly showing that people had come here before them. They're shocked by what they see. Suddenly, they see a creature coming out of the water and attacking them. It tries to kill them, and they keep running away until they end up back on the island again. But their condition is so bad, it would move even a non-believer to pity. Tanza says to Sasha, "You know, if it weren't for my teacher, I would have been sentenced to death just like you. But he supported me and stood by my side until he made me a successful person 5 years ago. I was a failure as a kid. My parents were divorced and neither of them wanted me. I grew up on the streets and my life was really hard. I used to beg from people and steal their food. I would sleep whenever I wanted and wake up whenever I felt like it. There was no purpose in my life. And one day I was beating up some people to take what they had. I didn't feel sorry for anyone. The most important thing was to get what I wanted from them. At that moment, I found someone coming up behind me, raising a sword to my face and saying, 'That's enough. Come with me and I'll provide you with everything you need.' And I really did go with him to his house, and I found out he was a martial arts instructor. He told me, 'Stay with me and I'll teach you everything and I'll make you a martial arts master. You too.' He started teaching me, but I was still upset. I was used to living my own way with no one telling me what to do. I told him, 'I don't want anything from you and I don't want to learn anything,' and I was about to leave. But Shino told him, 'If you can land just one hit on me, I'll let you go.' The guy gets angry and says to him, 'Are you making fun of me or what?' He attacks him, but he can't even touch him. He tries again, but it's no use. The day ends and he still hasn't managed to do anything. The next day, he wakes up before them and leaves them behind. One of the professor's students meets him and says, 'You want to leave without even saying goodbye to him? Shame on you. You're about to leave.' He's about to say something, but the student interrupts. 'Don't worry, I'm not going to stop you from leaving. I just want you to come with me for a bit. We'll take a walk and then you can do whatever you want.' He replies, 'All right.' He takes him with him to the cemetery and stands in front of one of the graves. The boy asks him, 'Do you know whose grave this is?' 'Of course not.' 'Let me tell you, this is Mr. Shino's brother's grave. He was a reckless kid like you, wanted to live life his own way, didn't want anyone to control him or tell him to do anything. At the time, he left home to depend on himself. Shino didn't stop him and let him do whatever he wanted. And after Mr. Tarhako became one of the executioners, he went to execute one of them. He raised the sword but couldn't bring it down. That's when he realized that the criminal was his younger brother. His brother feels for him and says, 'I'm sorry I didn't live up to your expectations. Execute me and move on with your life and don't feel any regret over my loss. Either way, I'm the reason for everything that's happened to me now.' Both of them were overwhelmed with sadness at that moment. And that's what happened, Tamza. The teacher killed his own brother with his own hands, and he couldn't even help him. As soon as the boy hears this, he's deeply affected and realizes that his situation is just like his brother's. Earlier, the teacher wakes up from his sleep and goes to the fighting hall. He finds someone in front of him who says, 'I'm with you, and I won't leave until you teach me everything you know.' The teacher is delighted by his words and feels extremely happy. And that's everything that happened until I became an executioner. Now Sasha is moved by what she hears and tells him, 'I'm happy for you and you did the right thing by going with him.' Suddenly, while they're talking, someone comes down to them from the sky. The kids are shocked and ask, 'Who are you, man, and how did you get here?' The guy looks at them nervously. His appearance changes, his voice gets deeper, and he says, 'I heard there are guests on the island, so I came to kill them.' The kids get scared of him and try to run away, but he suddenly appears in front of them and hits one of them so hard that he flies out of the place and can't walk anymore. Sasha gets worried about him and is about to go to him, but that monster attacks her. She dodges skillfully and goes to check on Tens. The monster comes at them, but Tens cuts off his head and suddenly they find it regenerating again. The kids are shocked. Tens attacks it again and cuts off all its limbs, then takes Sasha and they escape from the place thinking they've gotten rid of it, but they find it coming after them again. Suddenly they see a sword cut off its head. Tens looks and finds his teacher, who tells them to run before it regenerates again, so they run away. They really do get away from it until they reach a quiet place. Tens is very happy and says to Sasha, "This is my teacher, the one I've been telling you about all this time." From that moment, the girl is happy and says to him, "Good, now we have someone to protect us." The teacher tells them, "We need to leave here quickly. When I tried to escape, I ran into monsters in the water and had to go back to the shore. I couldn't get out with the ship." Tens says to him, "That's exactly what happened to us. But that's not the problem right now. The real problem is how to escape from this guy who suddenly appeared out of nowhere, standing next to them and saying, 'Are you making fun of me or what?' Mr. Peter gets terrified, grabs the kids and moves away from him, but then he finds his neck has been injured without even feeling the attack. Oh my god, what strength! He attacks him furiously with all his might. His blows are so fast that a normal person wouldn't even be able to see them. But the other guy dodges them easily, not even letting him touch him, mocking him and saying, 'Is that all you've got?' Then he hits him with a blow that sends him flying, and at that moment he realizes these are his final moments. He looks at Sasha and the professor and says, "Since I'm going to die anyway, I have to buy them some time to escape." He struggles, gathers his strength, gets up and keeps attacking the monster in front of him. The professor sees Tenzi in this state and wants to help him, but his own injury is too serious. Tenzi takes another hit, falls to the ground, and can't do anything. He tries to call out to the professor and tell him to take Sasha and run, but he can't speak. At that moment, the professor picks up Sasha and escapes. The girl screams, telling him not to leave him alone. She wants to go back and save him before he dies. But Tenzi is already dead, lying on the ground soaked in his own blood. She looks at Sheila angrily and says, "Why did you do that? Why did you run away? You didn't even try to help him. Even if we died with him, it wouldn't have mattered." The professor starts crying and tells her that's what he wanted. He sacrificed his life to give us time so we could escape. He kept struggling to speak, but he couldn't say anything. "But I swear to you, I won't return to the city until I avenge his death." He was overwhelmed with sadness at that moment. Meanwhile, Gabi was sitting in the central area wanting to explore the rest of the island, but everyone was too scared to move, so he waited until they fell asleep, then left them and headed toward the center of the island. The place he reaches is filled with fog and he can't see anything anymore. At that moment, he realizes he's reached the central area. He hears strange sounds and discovers that the trees are making those noises, but he doesn't understand what's happening. But he keeps going and finds a house with very high walls and a large gate, so he heads toward the gate. He knocks so that someone will open the door for him. Suddenly he finds a monster appearing behind him. But Gabi isn't bothered at all. The monster says to him, "I just killed one of your kind a little while ago, and I don't want to kill anyone else. Just leave now without causing any trouble, or you'll regret it." Gabi replies, "Alright, just tell me where Tao is and I'll leave you alone and go." The guy gets angry and says, "Since you know about Tao, you have to die now." He attacks him with all his strength, but Gabi blocks his strike. Then bam, a kick smashes his head. Tai gets furious, heals himself and attacks again. But Gabi dodges him easily and with a swift move breaks his neck. And even better, when he knocks him down, they light up and say, "He must have been affected by my punch," but suddenly he sees him get up again. He gives him another punch that sends him flying and even breaks his leg, saying, "That's enough for him." That's the second person I've killed today, but Gabi gets up to him and says, "You're going to need a real man." And the guy is shocked by his strength. They attack each other again, and Gabi breaks him and lands a punch that sends him flying. But Gabi takes a break with Tai and heals himself. Then they go at each other again. Gabi dodges skillfully and keeps thinking about how to hit him. He gathers all his strength and focuses all his energy into one leg, then strikes him with it. He really gets affected by the hit and his body weakens in front of him. At that moment, Tai gets angry and uses a new skill, attacking him from a distance. Gabi can't see his attacks, he can't take it, and Tai keeps increasing his attacks. Gabi remembers his beloved. He gathers all his strength, endures all the pain, and blocks the attacks. He gets to him and hits Tai with all his strength and even returns the blow to him. But Gabi won't stay quiet. He attacks him with all his might. His speed is extremely high. Tai can't block him. He tears his whole body apart. Tai falls down, unable to move, and his body isn't regenerating either. Damn. Gabi looks at him angrily and says, I know you're still alive. Tell me, where are you? Come on before I kill you. He looks at him like that and laughs a sly, mischievous laugh. His body started turning into flowers. He began his demonic transformation. His body grows larger, his appearance changes, and Gabi is shocked by him. Tai continues his transformation. He looks at Gabi angrily and says, get ready because this is your end. And suddenly electric waves shatter him. Gabi snaps out of it and attacks him, but another blow sends him back. He tries to get up again but can't, and Tai takes advantage of that, relentlessly hitting him with all his strength, one blow after another. And Gabi is completely finished. Then Tai picks him up, mocking him, and Gabi couldn't do anything. He talks to himself and says, and at that moment I realized that I am a weak opponent too, a feeble adversary. I don't have much strength to face these ferocious beasts. Days go by only to prove to me that I will never meet my beloved, not even after a lifetime. And as the poet said, not everything a person wishes for can be attained. Sometimes a person's demise lies in what he desires. At that moment, he summoned what little strength he had left and collapsed, drenched in the beast's blood. And he's also gathering a huge amount of power, wanting to wipe out the island, but suddenly Mai comes, goes to Gabi, and creates a shield with her power to block his attacks, and the two of them are blown away from in front of him. And after they were blown far away, Tayo had reached his limit and returned to his normal state. He went to the rest of his brothers, and his appearance and demeanor had changed. His face had become gaunt and aged. The other Tencents started mocking him, asking, who messed up your face like that? Even their leader came and said to him, so just a mere human did this to you? You don't even deserve to be with us in the first place. And he keeps taunting him. He kept talking to him and the guy didn't know how to respond. Another guy was about to speak but he told him, don't let me hear your voice. I'm the one who talks here. Of course, the boy goes silent and can't utter a single word in front of him. After that, he gives the guy a drink and when he drinks it, he returns to his youth again, not knowing if this is really him or not. My friend. He continues talking and tells them, the people who came to the island this time aren't right. They killed many of our soldiers and it looks like they're tough. That's why I secure the entrances because anyone I spot will take care of him. On the other hand, the rest woke up from their sleep and didn't find Gibi or me there. Saji is worried about him and doesn't know what to do. She wants to go to him and make sure he's okay. Taka says to her, why are you worried about him? Anyway, observers like you have no right to worry about criminals like us. And she refuses to go with her to look for him. But Hoko tells them, Mi isn't here and she definitely went after him. I'll go check on her if you want to come with me. At that moment, they agree to go with him to explore the island. They set out to look for them, and on the way, they ask about the Tencent and when they might see them. He tells them that there are 7 Tencent known as the Guardians of the Island and the most dangerous among them is Fugen, who is their leader. When I was still a child, they told me that Fugen was the sole protector of the island, but he cloned himself and now they're all him. But of course, that's just a myth I heard when I was little. Taka says to him, when you were little, were you just a piece of paper or what? Hoko laughs and says, no, I was a human like you, living in the village for a long time. My life and the lives of the other villagers were perfect. But everyone who lived on the island, as they got older, parts of them would turn into branches. After that, we would all gather in this place and die. And now I'm the only one left alive, and I feel that my end is near. Of course, they were all shocked by what I said. Meanwhile, Gabi regains consciousness from what happened to him and finds Mai unconscious next to him. He remembers everything that happened and feels upset, wanting to take revenge on the Tencent. But he's also happy because now he has hope of reuniting with his beloved again. Suddenly, another criminal named Tammy comes up to him and says, why do you look so beaten up? Who messed up your face like that? This will make it easy for me to kill you. Gabi looks at him angrily and says, your hand is cut off, you're shaky, and in this state it would be easy for me to hurt you. How about we die together? The guy is shocked, realizing that Gabi isn't easy to deal with and he still wants to attack him. But his supervisor calms him down and says, come on man, it's not worth all this trouble. So he says, alright. After that, Tammy asks him about what happened to him. And who is that girl? So Gabi tells them everything, including that he met the Tencent. The guys can't believe it. How can there be people who don't die and any part that's cut off just regenerates? You must be joking. So how are we supposed to kill them? Suddenly, while they're talking, they see Mei unconscious. As soon as Gabi sees her, he's shocked and asks, what happened to you? You were a child just 5 minutes ago. How did you age like that? and he also finds her talking and laughing at him. Gabi is happy and goes over to her, talks with her and asks her about the Tensen and how to kill them. Mei tells them, "The Tao." The guys don't understand and say to her, "What do you mean by Tao? Explain yourself more." So she tells them, strong, weak, a soul and memories. But still, the kids don't understand. At the same time, Hoko was telling them about him, saying that the Toe is the only power that can kill the Tens. And as you know, every being has a body and a soul, and if the body isn't affected by attacks, then the two affects the soul of the Tens and kills them. But in order to use it, you have to weaken your body's strength and let your soul take that power. And the kids are shocked by what they're hearing. Meanwhile, Shobo was still alive, gathering all his strength, taking Tama, and escaping from the pit. He was furious and wanted to face the Tents again. He tells Tama, "If I see any of them, I won't show mercy." Suddenly, he finds someone appearing next to him. The kids get scared and move away from him. Shobo gets excited and says, "Who are you? Get ready because I'm going to kill you." But the guy tells him, "Calm down, man, I'm a messenger from the Tents. I came to check on you and tell you to go down into the pit without any trouble." Shobo gets angry and says, "So you don't want any trouble, huh?" Then he attacks him with all his strength. But the guy dodges it easily. He punches him, but Shobo gathers his strength and cuts off his arm. The monster says to him, "Well done. You've got good physical strength, but you won't be able to do anything to me." He heals his arm and makes those giants attack them. Tama handles them easily and Shobo attacks him again. The monster dodges his attacks effortlessly. He says to him, "Your stamina is low, my friend." And boom, one hit knocks him flat on his face just like that. Looks like that's his end. The monster gets closer, wanting to kill him, but Shobo was pretending and hits its head. He says, "I sensed something a while ago, that you surrounded yourself with a strange barrier. If I break it, will I kill you all or what?" The guy is shocked to find his stamina keeps increasing, and if he doesn't kill him quickly, he'll figure out how to use the stamina and kill him. He attacks him again, and Shobo can't see his attacks. He's getting hit and can't believe it. And still, he can't see them, and he keeps blocking his attacks until he gets close and lands a punch on him. Shobo's stamina increases, his strength becomes incredible, and marks appear on his body, making him act in an unnatural way. The monster has no idea what's happening to him. He tries to attack him again, but now he can see his attacks clearly and dodges them with ease. The monster is about to gather his strength, but he breaks his arm. He tells him, "This is your end," and uses the same technique against him. He gathers the Tao in his hand and delivers a blow that puts him at ease. Meanwhile, Gabi and Tammy were taking down a bunch of monsters and trying to figure them out, but they didn't understand anything. Suddenly, someone comes over and takes Mai from them. They see him greeting her and calling her the Queen. Gabi is shocked and asks him, "How do you know her?" He replies, "I was about to ask you the same question. How long has she been with you?" Mai was the only girl among the island's guardians, but she ran away from them because they used to torture her. They told her, "Either we'll kill you or you'll join us in rituals to increase our power." From that day, she escaped and we haven't seen her until now. Mai isn't human and you shouldn't get involved with her anymore. Gabi is shocked and doesn't know what to do. Should he let her go with them or stand by her and protect her from them? He looks over and sees her crying, so he stands by her and says, "If I see another tear fall from her, I won't spare any of you." The guy gets angry and splits himself into two, telling him, "Get ready because I'm going to kill you." He transforms into monsters and they attack them, but Gabi blocks them. "But these guys are really tough on you." Gabi gets angry and hits one of them, but he regenerates again. Nothing affected him at all. They attack them with Tao and they can't even see their attacks. They have no idea what to do against them. Gabi creates a wall of fire in front of him and keeps thinking about how he's going to deal with them. He doesn't want to waste his energy for nothing like he did with Theo before. Suddenly Mai goes to Gabi, grabs his hand and telepathically tells him what Tao is, and indeed his energy increases. He feels this power, lets it flow and starts looking for them. They attack him with their Tao, but now he can see their attacks clearly and dodges them easily. They attack him again, but he stands his ground confidently and blows up his arm. Everyone is shocked by his strength and says that his power now rivals that of the 10. They surrender in front of him, unable to do anything to him, and he punches them, sending them flying far away. He goes after them again, but they gather the insects and make them attack him instead. He leaves them and goes after the insects, taking them down one by one as if he were Hercules in his prime. And after that, they finish them off. Meanwhile, Hoko, Taka and Saji had reached the middle of the island. They opened the gate, and just as they were about to enter, Hoko's head suddenly flies off right in front of them.
Peace and blessings be upon the Prophet. That was a nice visit. Let's hope it doesn't happen again. Then one of the Tensen appears before them, named Hayu. As soon as the kids see him, they're terrified. She tries to run away but finds him right in front of her. He grabs her and says, "Come on, let's talk for a bit." He says, "You're actually the first people to make it this far. I have to welcome you." Sari gets angry, raises her sword to his face and says, "Who are you and what do you want from us?" Hayu says to her, "Why are you so worked up? We're just talking after all. Come here, miss. Let me tell you who I am. I'm Hayu. I know you came here for the tan, but what you don't know is that this is the biggest lie for you. The tan is only for you to drink, and if anyone else drinks it, they'll turn into a tree. And that's exactly what we did to the people of Hoko village. And all the people who came here were just test subjects for us. Now it's your turn." Saji, as soon as she hears this, is shocked and says, "So that's it, Gabi won't be forgiven. He won't go back to his beloved again. Everything we've done was for nothing. I won't allow this to happen." She also gathers her strength, cuts off her own head and says, "That's it, he's dead." She goes to Saji and says, "Come on, let's go. What we came here for doesn't exist. It was all a lie." They start running but are surprised when he regenerates himself and throws a toxic bomb at them, but they barely manage to avoid it. The guy is surprised and says to Taka, "Wow, you're the first one who managed to dodge that attack. You definitely make good raw material, and I'll run a lot of experiments on you." As soon as Shiki hears that, he gets angry, grabs his sword and says, "Then I'll face you with all my strength." But Ha doesn't pay any attention to what he says. Taka says, "As long as you don't die." So he used everything he had learned against you. She uses her power and releases a toxic substance to attack him, melting and cutting through him, but he regenerates and isn't affected. He gets up and sees Saji in front of him, so he knocks her away, but Shiki cuts off his legs and tells him, "Don't ignore my words again." Still, he regenerates, and they don't know how to deal with him. Shiki and Taka team up and attack him together, but he easily dodges all their moves. Then he grabs Taka and uses her to hit Shiki, and neither of them is able to keep fighting anymore. Saji gathers her strength again, gets up and attacks him. He mocks her and tells her, "You know you can never hit me, so don't even try to attack me." But Saji doesn't care. She throws her sword at him and hits him, then goes to slice his stomach in half, but still he isn't affected. "Come on man, just die already." He tells them, "Your Thao power is limited and none of you will ever be able to do anything to me." But suddenly, he notices a great power appearing in Saji. Her Thao is increasing and she attacks him with all her strength. He dodges her attack at the last moment, but she manages to wound his face. The wound doesn't heal and they realize that she has actually affected him. He says, "How could someone like her do this to me? Am I going to die now or what?" They attack him again, and the guy barely manages to dodge. Saji keeps attacking him, and he can't keep up with her strikes. Taka and Shiki are also helping her, tearing him apart, and she was about to kill him, but he suddenly flies up into the sky in front of them, regenerates himself, creates many orbs, and then lightning strikes down on them from the sky. They barely managed to dodge it, but they were injured. Taka says to Saji, "I'm going to bet my life on what I'm about to do now. I want you to kill him quickly and not let me die." She goes up to him and grabs him with her strength, and lightning strikes down on her from the sky. The girl barely manages to endure, struggling to hold on, resisting and pulling him, slamming him into the ground, but he's still about to escape. He finds that Shiki has stabbed a sword into his stomach, pinning him down and not letting him move. Saja also comes in with all her strength. "Cheers to you, boss. And don't worry, my friend." After that fight, they all sit down to rest because they have no idea where to go now. Saja talks to Shiki saying, "What's up man? I see you protecting Taka and worried about her. So, did the hook catch or what?" Taki goes quiet and says to Taka, "The moment I saw her I fell in love. I loved her, and honestly, words can't express what I felt when I first met her. And I blended the beauty of her words with my own speech. The signs of love appeared in my eyes for her. My soul was torn apart. I lost my mind, and I lowered my gaze in her presence. But with my insight, I loved. Not with my earthly self. This love is not a fleeting desire that fades away. Her name remains written in my heart." "Bravo, Uncle Shiki. How wonderful is this?" Ji asks him, "So did you tell her that you love her or not?" Shiki replies, "No, I'm afraid she'll reject me. But if she asked for a star from the sky, I wouldn't hesitate to get it for her. Even my soul is hers to save." And just as he's about to continue speaking, he sees that Hayu has started his demonic transformation before dying completely. He attacks Taka, and she was just about to be killed. But Shiki takes the blow in her place. After that, he collapsed, and his condition was very serious. His whole body started turning into flowers. It looked like it was the end for him, my friend. Hayu also completed his demonic transformation. His appearance changed and he began attacking them. They were just about to die. But do you really think they're going to die, my friend? No, not at all. Professor Shino arrives at the last moment and protects them from his attack. Then he tells Sasha, take them and get them out of here so I can have some space while I fight these monsters. And indeed she takes them and moves away. Anyway, the professor attacks Hayu with all his strength, slashing at him from every direction. Hayu tries to hit him, but the professor is very fast and easily blocks his attacks. He throws his sword at him, hitting him in the stomach, then goes over and kicks him, sending him flying. But suddenly Hayu gets up and laughs a sly, mischievous laugh. He says to him, look at your body. And suddenly, Shino's entire body is covered in flowers. The professor gets angry, tears at his own body, and gets rid of the flowers, but he ends up in a very bad state. Saji and Sasha are shocked when they see what happened. They rush over to help him and stand by his side. Shino was happy to finally have someone to help him. Sasha attacks them, her moves spinning and spiraling. She can also sense his attacks and keeps staring into him with ease. The professor takes advantage of this, flies at them, cuts off his own hand, and also kicks his leg, knocking him down. At that moment, Hayu gets furious, stands up to them again, and unleashes massive destruction in every direction, terrifying everyone. Saji grabs Sasha and they try to escape, but the professor stops them. He remembers Tenza and what he did for him, and says, no, I will never run away again. He attacks Hayu, endures all the blows, moves forward, leaps up onto his body, and keeps thinking about what his weak point is. Suddenly, he hears Shiki calling out to him, telling him, his weak point is that seed in the middle. It's a plant monster, and if you break its seed, it will die instantly. And indeed, without wasting any time, he gathers all his strength and splits it in two. At that moment, Hayu dies, his body disappears, and there's no trace of him left. And the family. They said they were at the peak of happiness, then they went to Chiki, and at that moment, he was breathing his last. Everyone was worried about him, but she didn't care whether he lived or died. Thani tells her, give him the medicine you have so the bleeding will stop and he can live. But Taka tells her, no, I only have 2 doses. And it's better for Shino to take the medicine because he's strong and will be able to protect us. So she tells her, but you have 2 doses, give him one of them. She replies again, no, I kept them for myself in case anything happens to me. The girl gets upset, feeling sorry for Chiki, who is hearing all this from the person he loves and for whom he sacrificed his life. Taka also goes to him, hugs him, and says, imagine someone you love or a family member is with you now so you can die in peace. But unfortunately, he can't imagine anyone but her. He doesn't want to live except with her. He takes his last breath while in the arms of his beloved. And I was really moved by his death, my friend. At that moment, Saji stands there, crying over his loss, overwhelmed with sadness. After that, they go inside to see what's there and to look for something to eat. At that moment, Shino talks to Saji and tells her, I saw you using it a while ago. I don't want you to use it again with such intensity because it will affect your mind and you might lose your memories. But that's exactly what happened to Gabi. He wakes up startled, not knowing where he is, and wondering how he ended up here. He doesn't remember anything, nor does he know who these people are. He doesn't show it in front of them and tries to recall what happened to him, but he can't remember anything at all. And with that, the first season of the anime ends. I'm waiting for the second season, and as soon as it comes out, I'll be the first to summarize it. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments which anime you want me to summarize.